paradoxes.
The Adlucinor prodigy. Your father would be distraught to discover you here, you know.
Yes. I understand the boundaries I've stepped, but my curiosity overrules the risk of discipline.
And what of your curiosity? I sense a great pull to the world beyond this tower in you, young mage.
I desire knowledge. Practicing the same spells over and over is no longer teaching me anything. I want to learn from the other signs, magic from all of Cygnus, not just how to make lights dance and feathers float.
You trivialize the potential of this tower, young one. But I can tell you just about the pride you have for your own knowledge. You lit up this entire room with near no effort. Your signs are conjured with such clarity and intention. Not many could meet your skill in the same years you have spent here. In fact, for some, what you can accomplish takes a lifetime of study.
Yes, a lifetime of study. I have heard this phrase from my father and all the teachers, a lifetime of times over. You could spend a lifetime here and still not learn all that the Valen sign has to offer. But I feel stuck here, and I know that out there lies so much more potential for me. I have heard stories of Tydeal mages who can conjure water from thin air and spin it into ice sharp as blades. Rundai druids that can mold the very earth into impenetrable shields covered in thorn vines, and Draco warriors that can summon flames blazing enough to melt the hardest steel.
And the Valen mages who value knowledge over all and command the powers of light, air, sound, force and flight. The same mages that led the resistance against the madness of Draken, bonding all other signs of magic in accordance to defeat the flames that would end all. There is a danger in touching magic that led to the end of an entire nation, young one.
I know about the history of the Draken War, and I know that the madness that inflicted their warriors died with them. magic has no inherent evil. The evil lies within the minds of those who wield it. The war certainly didn't bode well for the reputation of magic in Cygnus, anyhow. This tower sees less and less initiates every year, and I hear the Tydern Academy is following the same fate, now that Tydeus is governed by Captain Sturk, who gives no value to the duty of teaching magic, only to the duty of keeping his wealth. And of course the druids in Rundarai are very skilled at keeping to themselves, so I've heard. I've come to you as I've read about certain artifacts infused with power that I believe can help me learn more about magic.
Very intuitive, young mage. I would agree. There are artifacts that hold a great and ancient source of magic, and I would also believe you possess the skill to unlock their potential. But these artifacts will not be easy to find, and the journey to reach them will be long. I fear, however, this will not hold you back. Your determination emanates from you like a bright star. Very well. I know of 4 locations that hold these sources of magic. The first, a fan made of silver and ghost raven feathers. Rumor has it the fan spends most of its time completely invisible, subtly hiding within thin air. It is said to softly whisper, echoing a time long forgotten in a calming but unintelligible manner. The fan, last seen in the hands of a powerful family of vampires that live in a castle on the edge of Aravale, overlooking the sea atop the cliffs. The danger in treading into a lair of vampires is great, especially if your intention is to take something they own. You would be sure to conjure a clever plan before trying to enter an ancient vampire castle. However, this artifact is the closest to where we are now, as the castle stands here in Aravale.
Vampires? I've only ever read about them, and thankfully so. I wouldn't even know where to start planning a heist for a vampire castle. Any chance you think they'll just hand it over? Oh, of course not. Don't bother answering that.
Well, the second artifact is a crown, crafted from Elderwood and alineae ivory, twisted together to form a diadem fit for a king. The Elderwood, harvested from branches fallen from the eldest trees in Rundaeus. It is said that the wood from these trees rival the strength of steel, and the alineae, a breed of spiders that are set apart not only for their great size, but also the brilliant horn that sits in between many eyes. The horn is formed from the jewel-like emerald exoskeleton of these great spiders. These creatures are revered for their beauty, but also their deadly and hostile nature. They dwell only in the dark, and to come across one, your luck would have to be dire, as prey you would likely become. The crown, last known to be in Rundaeus. Exactly where, however, still remains a mystery. The druids of Rundarai might have more knowledge of its whereabouts if they do not hold it themselves.
Alineae. My father has an alembic set made of alineae ivory. He told me it was very precious, and that's why he keeps it locked behind a glass cabinet. but I never knew it actually came from a giant killer spider. What's next?
The third artifact, an hourglass made of the most pristine sea glass and pure gold. Suspended in its chamber flows water from the glaciers far south of Tida, always cold and ever-changing to the ebb and flow of time and luck itself. It is said that the water from the glaciers is the purest water that can be found anywhere. The hourglass itself was lost not so many years ago in the depths of the ocean between Tiderne and the south of the world. A savage storm struck a pirate's galleon, traveling the southern oceans carrying a great chest containing the hourglass. The storm shattered the ship without mercy, and near everyone and everything on it sunk to the bottom of the sea floor. The few that survived the wreck claim the hourglass as cursed, and fewer would risk the journey to retrieve it, to sail out to sea and traverse the depths to find it, and still yet return. That ideal mages have mastered the art of breathing water, something no doubt you would have to learn before traversing the ocean to find the hourglass.
Right. Learning to breathe water and swimming to the ocean floor in search of a shipwreck somewhere south of Tiderne? Am I sure I'm cut out for this? At least I can try to find the survivors of the wreck to help me locate where it was sunk.
Finally, the last of the 4 artifacts, a dragon spine bone, ever burning with the essence of dragon's breath, a source of warmth, constant, in the cold, snowy peaks of Draken, somewhere in the caverns of the Hollow Mountains. The last dragon known to Cygnus died during the Dragon War, but not before ravaging the land between Aravale and Rundeus. As the mages of the 3 signs stood against the Dracor forces, their will seemed to summon a brilliant blue starlight that pierced the mad dragon's scales and sent it into the blazing crater it left after its assault. As it fell, its remains suddenly turned to dust. So, many now believe that the dragon bone is an impossible thing to hold, thus the doubt around the bone's existence. But there is no doubt in its enchanting eternal flame. The dragon bone, along with many other memories of the Draken civilization, now lie to rest in ruins strewn throughout the cliffs and caverns of the mountains. A treacherous journey, climbing the crumbling ruins of the Draken cities up the Hollow Mountains. But this is where the bone most likely lies.
It always puzzled me why a nation that wielded fire lived in such a cold and unforgiving climate. I suppose they more than anyone had the means to fend off the chill of the ice. Most people won't dare climb the mountains now as they think they're haunted. I'm sure huge empty caverns make plenty of eerie noises, so I can understand why they think that. But personally, I've never encountered a ghost.
Each artifact holds its own primordial power connected to each of the 4 signs of magic in Cygnus. It is up to you to interpret their power to gain the knowledge you seek. I wish you luck on your journey, and when you have nowhere else to turn, Remember, the four-pointed star is always with you.
The four-pointed star?
Farewell, young one.
What do you mean? Wait, what does that mean?